Welcome, everybody. I am here today to take you all through a journey of what I consider to be some of my favorite enemies in any of the Souls games, and those are the dumb enemies. Now, you'll know what I mean when I say dumb. Obviously, it's not their fault, or it's not meant to really take a dig at From Software, but a lot of stuff like this is what brings a lot of joy to me and a lot of laughter to me. Characters that are just silly. Now, if you don't know what I mean, let me give you a quick example. In the beautiful world of Dark Souls 1, we have tons of enemies, a lot of them smart, a lot of them dumb. In Sense Fortress, whenever you enter, you end up going across a tiny little bridge. Now, there's two enemies in this area that I want to mention. One of them is more of a side character, but then we have the main character. Good afternoon. That little guy, every single time this man-serpent manages to get hit by this rock, he pops his head and goes, hello. So that is kind of what I mean by dumb. Just something that brings me a little bit of joy and a little bit of happiness in this dark, very dark world. So let me introduce you to a couple more of these. A little skeleton in Dark Souls 2. Have you ever fought the chariot boss? Yeah, this one always opens the door. And what is his reward for opening the door for the boss? Oh my god! It's getting turned into goddamn bone ash after getting hit by the chariot itself. Every single time makes me laugh. And he's just a good worker, you know? You gotta appreciate him. Kind of an honorable mention as well. How about the chariot boss himself? My man has one way to die, and it's like he lives in danger. If we go here, he has to jump this every single time to live. And there's one way that he can die, and it's if the damn gate goes down, and guess what? We lower the gate, and that's how we kill him. He basically ends up in the exact same situation as the little skeleton who, we can probably find his ribcage around here somewhere if we look careful enough. He ends up in the exact same situation, pretty much, as that skeleton. So, almost like karma? We'll call it karma. While we're on the subject of Dark Souls 2, how about we go to a nice, literal burning hot as balls area. Now, I won't really be able to showcase it too well because, frankly, this could also be called an honorable mention as I've never really seen him do it. But that turtle you just saw escape and run from me always destroys this little bridge here. Now, I don't think he knows that we can jump. Just because he can jump, we could certainly jump, clear that gap quite easily. But there's plenty of times where that turtle manages to kill himself. Stands right in the perfect spot and he goes, you know what, if I'm going down, I'll take you down with me. But he just happens to always go down by himself. And you know what, how about we move on to the inspiration to this list. It kind of happened sort of on a whim. I was playing Demon Souls, I happened to be going down a particular staircase, and then there's this guy, that guy who's ashes now. He decides, well, this barrel's in my way. I'm sure probably one of us put it here, this explosive barrel. How about I hit it with my weapon? That's on fire. Blows himself up, killing himself instantly, of course. I don't exactly know what was going through his little head, but truly a revolutionary, a visionary, if you will, because he inspired this that I am currently making. So shoutouts to him. We'll call him Ed. And while things are still hot, get it because of the lava. If you have any enemies that you think belong on this list, I might make a part 2, so feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And hey, maybe consider leaving a like if you're enjoying the video so far. But we still got a few more enemies, so let's go ahead and jump over straight to Dark Souls 2. But, you know, like, just a different area. But if you've ever been in this area, there's a certain enemy that you could almost say is another inspiration for this series. I have had so many encounters with him. Is honestly one of my favorite characters that I always like going to visit. But if you've ever been in that cave, have you ever noticed that rock and then the body that comes after it? There he is. Every single time that you go into that cave, he always manages to kill himself with that rock. I don't know how he does it. He pushes it from behind, and yet he like runs over his own toe, and that's just game over for him or something. It happens so often and so frequently that I feel like it was almost programmed to be that way. Almost like a little nod, maybe like a little funny little goof. Okay, we're here in the smelly forest, but for this next one we have to be a tiny bit quiet. He's kind of He's kind of skittish back there. Now, this enemy, every single time you come to this area, always runs away like you're chasing him. Now, you're going to see what I mean from a clip and from right now when I move forward, but I don't know what it is about this character. He thinks he's him. Hey, get back here. Get back here, you son of a bitch. God damn, he's so fast. Who gave you racing shoes? I don't have enough stamina to keep up. He has way more stamina than me. God damn it. There he is. How do you run with 2 left feet? And anytime you move forward, he runs with a purpose, you know? There he goes. Off he goes to the races. He's leaving us. I mean, he'll leave you in the dust too, you know? Like, help, they're here for me. I don't know why he thinks this every single time, but he just keeps running. Off he goes. Yep, there he goes into the abyss. And he'll keep doing this forever. He'll circle you about 3 times and think he's had a close encounter. Yep. Help. Thinks he's had a close encounter with death. Truly thinks, I mean, his life is literally in the palm of our hands, but I don't know why every single time that I come into the forest here, I love chasing him for a little bit. I always visit him as the little fella who's running away from us. Uh-oh. And now I'm about to run away too.
The Azula Beastmen. The more I think about these enemies, the less sense they make, from every perspective. Their health pools are small enough to be measured in thoughts and prayers, but the sworded variants strut around like goddamn defensive linemen. The caster variants use a claw mark seal to cast ancient lightning incantations, which is already cringe as fuck, but they can't even use them correctly half the time. The lightning seems to get caught on every weird bit of map geometry it can find, which I guess is why you tend to find all the casters in Farum Azula's flattest, most boring areas. This place even has its own breed of dog. Like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. Who cares?
We are in the wonderful burnt world of Broom Tower. Now, I don't know if you've ever gone through this area and really paid attention, but have you ever noticed these little skinny fellas? Now, they're carrying very, very, very dangerous things. Those are explosive barrels. I don't know why they're in charge of them, to be honest, especially literally right next to the fire. But these little guys love to run straight into that fire, killing themselves and usually anything around them in the process. Now, they can avoid it. They definitely can avoid it, but most of the time they always just kind of end up right in it. And well, that was cool. They look like they need a hand. Shut your bitch ass. Now, Sekiro has a handful of enemies. I'm gonna call out a few specific ones. Number 1 is a boss. That is the armored warrior. You know the guy who goes, Roberto! Yeah, that guy. The man is fully armored, basically impenetrable by our thin katana. Pretty much the only way that he can die is if some type of traumatic accident happens, like he happens to fall off a bridge. And where does he decide to fight? On a bridge. The one thing that can kill him other than a train. And there's no trains anywhere in the land of Sekiro, so my man decides instead of, you know what, I'm gonna be in a big field. And I get it, right? He thinks, I got him here. I'll get the guy, because there's one way that he can go. By the way, it's not really. We have a grappling hook. If we really wanted to, I feel like we could find another path. He goes, I got him. He has to go through me. I feel like there's so many other areas where he could have done it, but he decides to do it on a bridge. And, well, we all know how that ends up. Now back we go to the wonderful world of Dark Souls 1. One of the cheesiest bosses, that is Ceaseless Discharge, I think is quite the great addition to this list, because somehow this guy with his literal massive hand bigger than his goddamn head loves getting stuck. This is obviously one of the best things to do against him because he can be quite an annoying boss, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like if there's anybody that deserves it, it's the giant baby Ceaseless Discharge. Now, he always seems to go for the jump, and I don't really know what he expects. It's almost like a Hail Mary toss because he sort of jumps a giant gap where there's no lava and he's going to die. If he happens to fail that jump and not hit you, he was gonna fall anyways. So I will gladly cheese him every single time I play Dark Souls 1, and I will feel nothing, no remorse for him and his poor little hand. And then we have this bird. Now, he may not look very dumb, but that's where the hand lands.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!